Every night, you look at the stars. You probably think they're just giant balls of burning gas, silent, lifeless, billions of kilometers away. But what if every single thing you've ever been taught about the stars was a lie? What if one of them has been watching Earth since the very first human took their first breath? Because one ordinary night, without warning, every telescope on Earth stopped listening to humanity and turned towards the same star. Not because scientists told them to, not because of a software failure, but because something out there wanted to be found. And what happened next? Forced humanity to ask the most terrifying question in history. What if the stars have been watching us all along? For thousands of years, humanity looked up at the stars, believing they were nothing more than distant balls of burning gas. Beautiful, silent, lifeless. But what if every science book was wrong? What if one of those stars had been watching us? Since the very beginning, on an ordinary night, something impossible happened. Every major telescope on Earth suddenly turned toward the exact same star. Nobody touched the controls. No scientist gave the command. No computer system had been activated. Yet thousands of telescopes spread across different continents moved at precisely the same moment, as if an invisible force had taken control. Within minutes, observatories across the world declared a global emergency. At first, experts believed it was a software malfunction. Then, they checked the systems. Nothing was wrong. The motors were working perfectly, the computers showed no signs of hacking. Every telescope had simply chosen the same destination. The star wasn't special. It had been visible in Earth's sky for millions of years. It had no unusual size, no strange color, no known planets, nothing that should have attracted humanity's attention. And yet, every telescope refused to look anywhere else. Scientists manually changed the direction. Seconds later, the telescopes turned back on their own. Again and again and again, panic spread through every space agency on Earth. NASA, ESA, JAXA, ISRO. Nobody could explain what was happening. Then, exactly 43 minutes after the first telescope moved, the star changed. It didn't explode. It didn't move. It blinked once, twice, 3 times. The flashes were perfectly timed. Too perfect. Nature doesn't blink. For the first time in human history, the universe wasn't being observed. It was trying to communicate. Silence filled every control room on Earth. No one dared speak, because everyone was thinking the same terrifying question: who was trying to get our attention? The flashes continued, not randomly, not naturally. Every pulse arrived with perfect precision. Scientists around the world immediately began searching for a hidden mathematical pattern. Prime numbers, binary code, radio frequencies. Nothing matched. Then an artificial intelligence developed to analyze extraterrestrial signals noticed something no human had seen. The flashes weren't mathematics, they were language. The pauses between each pulse formed a repeating structure, almost identical to the grammar used in human communication. The AI spent 6 hours translating the signal. No one slept. No one left the control room. Every scientist knew. History was about to change forever. Then, the screen displayed the first translated sentence: "Hello, humanity." The room fell completely silent. Some believed it was a mistake. Others refused to believe what they were seeing. Every translation was checked again and again. The result never changed. The message was real. Someone or something knew exactly who we were. Within minutes, governments around the world classified the discovery. Military satellites surrounded the region. The signal was hidden from the public. Officially, nothing unusual had happened, but inside the world's most secure research facility, a second message was already arriving. The same star flashed again, this time. The AI translated the words almost instantly. "I have been watching you." Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. The room felt colder. Watching us? For how long? Scientists immediately searched ancient astronomical records. The answer left everyone speechless. That exact star had appeared in every recorded civilization. The Egyptians had drawn it. The Mayans had mapped it. Ancient Chinese astronomers had written about it. For thousands of years, it had never changed. It never moved. It never behaved differently until tonight. Then, a third transmission began, much longer than the first two. The AI started translating, but halfway through, it suddenly stopped. Every monitor inside the facility went black. One sentence slowly appeared across every screen. "You were never supposed to hear my voice." No one touched the keyboard. No one spoke. Every monitor remained black, except for those 7 haunting words. "You were never supposed to hear my voice." Then, without warning, the signal returned. This time, there were no flashes, no blinking light. The star itself began changing. Its surface rippled like liquid. Solar storms stopped. The violent plasma surrounding it became perfectly still. It was as though the star had frozen in time. Every observatory on Earth confirmed the same impossible event. A star had stopped behaving like a star. Scientists searched desperately for an explanation. Gravity remained unchanged. Temperature remained unchanged. Its nuclear fusion was still active. And yet, everything about its behavior had become impossible. Then, the AI detected something hidden beneath the signal. A second layer. A message. Inside, another message. It took nearly 3 hours to decode. When the final translation appeared, several scientists refused to continue. The message read, "You call me a star." A long pause followed. Then another sentence appeared. "I am not a star." Shock spread through the control room. If it wasn't a star, then what had humanity been looking at? For thousands of years? The AI continued translating. Every new sentence made reality feel less familiar.
We are not the ones you should fear.
Your species gave us names. You called us stars. You were never meant to know what we really are. The room became silent once again. Nobody was taking notes anymore. Nobody questioned the translation, because every prediction the signal had made had already proven true. Then came the sentence. That terrified everyone. "We have been watching every civilization." The AI paused, as though it didn't want to continue, but the signal forced it forward. The next sentence appeared. "When a civilization becomes ready," silence, another pause. Then, the final line arrived.
Perfectly at the center of our history.
"We speak." No one knew what the signal meant. Ready? For what? The answer arrived only seconds later. The living star transmitted another message. "Your civilization has reached the final stage of observation." Scientists exchanged nervous glances. Nobody had ever heard those words before. Final stage? Observation? It sounded less like science and more like a test. The AI continued decoding. Every sentence felt heavier than the last. Every intelligent species is observed. Every world is given time to grow. Very few survive what comes next. The room froze. Those weren't the words of an explorer. They were the words of someone who had watched this happen countless times before. Then, astronomers around the world reported something impossible. The same signal was no longer coming from just one star. A second star blinked, then a third, then 10, then hundreds, within minutes. Thousands of stars across the night sky began flashing together. Every
Access
observatory
denied.
confirmed the
It's
same
moving by
terrifying
itself.
truth.
Lockout!
The entire
We've lost all
galaxy
control.
was responding. People stepped outside their homes. Millions looked toward the sky. Nobody understood what they were seeing, but everyone felt it. Something had changed. Back inside the research facility, the AI suddenly detected a hidden transmission buried beneath all the others. It wasn't coming from the stars. It was traveling towards them. Fast, far faster than light should ever allow, the AI calculated its destination. Every scientist waited for the result. The answer appeared. Destination. Earth silence. Nobody spoke. Then another sentence slowly appeared. Do not send a reply. Confusion spread across the room. If they wanted contact, why were they warning humanity not to answer? The AI translated the final message. And this time, its own voice began to shake. We are not the ones you should fear.